Today we are elevating our own lab setup, and I'm not just talking about Kali Linux, I'm talking about setting up pfSense. This is the first episode of a series where we will cover everything from pfSense to 𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒍, Chronos and more. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now, before we begin, let me just tell you that these series are based on some great posts from 𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒍's blog, and let me just apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly. Also, I will leave the link down below so you can see David's posts. In this first post, we will set up and configure pfSense and Kali Linux, and this will be the network that you will have at the end of this video. You have the internet, and this is where all external data comes from and moves to your router. Then you have your switch or router, and this receives the data that comes from the internet and sends it to your computer. And then you have here your computer where it says my hosts, and your computer receives the data that comes from your router, and it's where you have your VirtualBox installed. Then you have your VirtualBox, and this is the virtualization software. Then you have WAN, and WAN stands for Wide Area Network, and WAN provides internet-like connectivity to your virtual machines. And then you have pfSense, and pfSense manages data between the WAN and LAN. LAN stands for Local Area Network, and pfSense routes data to the LAN, connecting your virtual machines to each other and the internet. Finally, you have Kali Linux, and Kali Linux connects to the LAN, allowing it to access the network and communicate with other VMs and the internet. Now, before we move on, you need to have in mind that your machine will need to have the following characteristics: 64-bit multi-thread CPU, minimum 4 cores, and you can see if your machine has this by running the following commands: 𝒆𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒍, and you will have access to a lot of information that will tell you if your computer is 64-bit multi-thread CPU, okay? Now, your computer will also need to have at least 16 GB of RAM, and you can see if your machine has this by running the following commands. So, /h. You click enter, and here you can see it. Your machine will also need to have at least 250 GB of disk space, and to see this you can run the command df-h. Now that you know what your computer needs to have in order to build your own elaborated home lab, we can begin our setup. The first thing that we need to do is to install VirtualBox. And if you do not have yours already installed, I recommend you to go check my video where I show you how to install it. Now, you already have VirtualBox installed, so the second thing that we need to do is to install pfSense. Let me just tell you that pfSense is a firewall in the router software, and we will use it to manage and secure our network. So let's begin by install our pfSense on our machine. So now you can go to Firefox or another that you want, and you can write pfSense download, like so. You click here, then you click on download, we select this one, we add to the cart, even though we will not pay anything. As you can see, it's $0. We enter the cart, we check out, we need to enter an address, and if you don't have an account, you will need to create one. Then you need to accept the terms and conditions, complete order, let's see. Now we click download, and as you can see, it's being downloaded. It's done. Okay, so as you can see, we have our file. However, our file ends with .gz, and this means that our file is compressed. To decompress our file, we use this command here, gunzip, and then the name of the file. Then, if you list the contents of your current directory, you will see that you will only have your ISO file, which is the file that we need in order to create a virtual machine, our pfSense virtual machine. So now we can go to VirtualBox and we can click on New. We need to name it. I will name it pfSense, like so. You just need to choose your ISO file, is this one, and on the type you choose BSD and specifically FreeBSD64 in my case, of course. Now let me just tell you that we choose BSD and specifically FreeBSD because ensures that pfSense operates effectively, leveraging a secure, stable and networking optimized system. Now, this setup is essential for creating a reliable and optimized firewall and routing, and that's what we want. Now we click Next. We can leave it like this, and here instead of 16 we will give 20. Now we go Next. You see all the summary, okay, and you click Finish. And here we have our virtual machine. Now, just to be organized, we can right click on pfSense, we can click on Move to Group and then click on New, and as you can see we have a new group and we will rename it. So we right click on New Group and we click Rename Group, and I will give the name of Firewall, like so. Now we will make some configurations, so we click on pfSense, we click on Settings, and then on System, and here on System we uncheck floppy, we click on hard disk and we will put the hard disk first on the list, and then the optical at second on the list, like so. Now we unchecked floppy because floppy drives are outdated and not used in modern systems. We set our hard disk at first on the list because ensures that the virtual machine boots from the hard disk where the pfSense system is installed. We put our optical in second on the list because allows the system to boot from an ISO file if needed, but only if no bootable hard disk is found. Now we go to audio and we uncheck enable audio, and this is because we do not need audio for pfSense as its purpose is to function as a router and firewall, which do not require audio capabilities. Now we do the same to USB here below. We uncheck enable USB controller. Now we go to network and on the adapter 1 tab you enable network adapter. On the adapter type we click on per a virtualized network. Now we go to adapter 2 and we enable network adapter. On this field, so on the attached 2, we click on internal network. The name will be LAN 0. In the adapter type we do the same as we did for adapter 1, so we click on per a virtualized network. We go to adapter 3, we enable network adapter. On the attached 2 we click on internal network. On the name we give LAN 1 and adapter type we give per a virtualized network. Now on adapter 4 we enable network adapter. On the attached 2 we insert internal network and as name we give 2. On the adapter type we click on per a virtualized network. Now we click on OK and we can start our pfSense. So we click on pfSense now and we click on start. We wait a little bit, accept, okay, to continue, okay, continue. Now we will install the community edition, this one here, so you click enter and you click continue once again. Now you can choose the stripe one. Now you click OK. Now you click yes. Now we click OK. Now we will configure our pfSense. The first thing that we will do is to configure the 4 adapters that we enabled before. So here we have a question that is, do VLANs need to be set up first? We will answer no. We click enter and then we are asked for our WAN interface name. So we can insert this first one here, VTNet0. VTNet0. We click enter and now we are asked to enter our LAN interface name, and that was VTNet1. So we enter VTNet1 and we click enter. Now the optional one interface name is VTNet2. VTNet2, like so. And our last is VTNet3. Now we will answer to this question with yes. Now we wait a little bit. Now, as you can see, our WAN, as you can see here, has already an IP address, and we will leave it like it is. And this is because if you change it, becomes a static IP address, and that will cost you extra. Now, if you leave it like it is, you won't pay extra, and this is because this is included in the services that your internet service provider gives you. However, we will change our LAN IP address, and we can do this without paying an extra fee because your internet service provider does not control your LAN, because your LAN is managed by you, and because of that there are no extra costs. To do that, we choose option 2, set interfaces IP address. We enter 2, we click enter. Now we will click once again 2 because we want to change our LAN IP address. So we enter 2 and we click enter. Now configure IPv4 address LAN interface via DHCP. We enter no because we want to manually set our static IP address for our LAN interface. Now we can enter our LAN IPv4 address, and I will insert 10.0.0.1, and you can enter the same IP address as me because our networks do not connect. Now enter a new LAN IPv4 subnet bit count, and we will insert 24. We click enter, enter once again. Now configure IPv6 address LAN interface via DHCP6, and we will respond no. Now we click enter. Do you want to enable the DHCP server on LAN? We will click yes. Okay, now we just need to enter the start address of the IPv4 client address range, and to do that we can insert 10, 0, 0 and 11. We click enter, and now we enter 10, 0, 0, 2, 4, 3, like so, and you click enter. Now, do you want to revert to HTTP as the web configurator protocol? No. Now, press enter to continue. Now we will do the same, but this time for the OPT1, as you can see here, okay? Now, as you remember, we need to insert the number 2 because we want to set interfaces IP address. Now we will insert the number 3 and like so. Now we will enter an IP address, and that will be 10.6.6.1, and you click enter. Now we will insert 24 as we did before. Now we click enter. We will enter no. Now we will click enter on this question. We will answer yes. Now we will enter the 10.6.6.11 and we click enter, and now we will insert 10.6.6.243. So I made a mistake, sorry guys. I entered 10.6.6.243 and this is wrong, so we need to insert 10.6.6, one dot only, 243. And the answer to this question is no. We press enter once again. Now let's do the same to our OPT2. So we will enter option 2 like so, and then we will enter option 4. We enter no once again. Now we will enter 10, 80, 81. Our subnet will be 24. We will click enter. We will enter no. We will click enter once again. We will enter no. We click enter. We will enter no once again. Now let me just tell you that the OPT2 will be used to set up our Active Directory lab, which we will do in another video. Now we click enter. Okay, for now it's done. However, we will make some changes once we install our Kali Linux. For now, we need to shut down our pfSense, and to do that, we will enter option 6, like so. Now, this option will safely shut down pfSense, preventing data loss and ensuring that all services are properly stopped. Okay, so we enter yes. Okay, as you can see, our pfSense is powered off. Okay, now we can remove our ISO file because we don't need it anymore. And to do that, we go to settings and then we go to storage. Now we click on the pfSense ISO file. Now we click here on this small disk. Now we can remove disk from virtual drive and then OK. Okay, so now we will install our Kali Linux. To install Kali Linux, we need to download our ISO file. So I will search for Kali Linux image because it's the same as ISO file, Ubuntu, and you can click here on the first one. Now you click here and you will need to make some choices, and this is because or you will need to download the 64-bit image or the 32. Now mine is 64, so I will begin by download this image. However, if you do not know what's you can go to your terminal and you can run this command here to see. And as you can see, mine is 64. Okay, so as you can see here it says that our file can contain a virus or a malware, but be aware that this can be only your security software giving you a false positive. So you click here and you allow download. Okay, now let's go to our terminal and see if indeed our file was tampered with. And to see if our file was tampered with, we can use the following command: /A_sum-A256, and now the name of our file, like so. Here we have checksum, and let me see, so this checksum ends with 390C. So let's go to our website and check the sum of our file. Our checksum from Kali Linux says that it ends with 390C. So the number is the same. This means that our file wasn't tampered with. So we can proceed with our installation. So we go to our VirtualBox, we click New, and here we can name it Kali Linux, like so. Don't add any ISO image here. The type is Linux and the version is Debian 64-bit, is this one here. Now we click next, and we increase our disk size to 80 GB. Next, and we click finish. Okay, now let's add our Kali Linux to a group, and to do that we right click here, we click move to group and we click new. Now we right click on the new group and we rename it to management. We click enter and now we have two groups. Now we will select both groups, so the firewall group and the management group, and we will move these two to a new group. And to do that we go to move to group, new, and we will right click on the new group and we will rename it home lab, like so. Okay, now before we can proceed we need to power on our pfSense. So we click start here. And let me just tell you that we need to have our pfSense powered on because before installing Kali Linux, because it can provide necessary network services. So it's running. Now we click on Kali Linux, we go to settings, and we will make some configurations on our Kali Linux. Now we go to system, and here on motherboard we uncheck floppy for the reasons that I've told you before, and we click on our disk and set it first, and our optical disk at second place. Now we will go to storage, and it will be here that we will add our ISO file. So we click on empty, we click here on this small disk and choose a disk file. Now you choose your ISO. Now let's go to network, and here at the adapter 1, where it says attached to, we will choose internal network. Okay, now where it says adapter type, we click on it and we will click on paravirtualized network. Now we click OK and make sure that your pfSense is running. And now let's start our Kali Linux. To do that, we click on it and we click start. We click enter on graphical install. Now we select the language. We click enter, in my case of course. Now I will click the country where I am now. Now the keyboards, you choose the one that you want. I will choose Portuguese because I'm Portuguese. Now you can choose the host name that you want. You leave the domain name empty. Now you enter your name or a name that you want, and this will be the name that will appear on the login page. So we click enter, continue, sorry. And now you enter a strong password. Now continue. So here you choose guided use entire disk. Continue. You choose this SDA partition disk. Now you choose the first one, all files in one partition. Now you click continue on finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Write the changes to disk, you choose yes and you click continue. And now we wait a little bit. Now we need to choose the desktop environment that will be installed. We let this checked, we uncheck XFCE, we check GNOME, and we uncheck KDE, and we let the rest checked. Now we click continue. Now we click continue. Now we choose this one here. We click continue. Now we click continue. Now let's log in. Okay guys, here we have our Kali Linux. Now let's update our system, and to do that we will use the command sudo apt update and sudo apt full-upgrade. We click enter, we insert our password, we insert yes, Okay, now we will choose this one here. And that's it, guys, for Kali Linux configuration. Alright guys, don't go anywhere because we are about to configure our pfSense firewall. This is the last part of this video, so hang tight. We are almost done for now, of course, and this step is crucial for securing and managing our network. So let's finish strong, guys. Now let's go to Firefox. And now we insert 10.0.0.1 and here we have our login page. Now, let me just tell you that the default credentials are admin as username and as password pfSense all lower cases. Okay, now we click next. We click next, and here on the host name you can change it. I will leave it as it is, and you can change the domain as well. And here at the end of the page you can uncheck where it says override DNS. You click on it and you click next. Now you change the time zone. We click next. Now we scroll until we see this and we can uncheck private networks like so. We click next. Now we don't change any value, so we click next. And now it's here where we change our password, so we need to insert a new password for admin. So you insert what you want, of course. So we click next, reload, and we click finish. And here we can see our pfSense dashboard. Now let's make some changes. So we go to interfaces, we go to OPT1, and in the description we clean this and we will insert the following: cyber _ range, like so. Now we click on save and here we will click apply changes. Now let's do the same, but this time to OPT2. So we click on it, we take the OPT2 and we insert AD_lab. We scroll down, we save and we apply changes. Okay, now we go to services and we go to DNS resolver, like so. Now where it says DHCP registration, we check, let's see. So we click here where it says DHCP registration, and we also check this box where it says static DHCP. Now let's scroll to the top of the page. We click on advanced settings. Now we scroll a little bit down to this advanced resolver option and we will enable prefetch support, and we will also enable prefetch DNS key support. So we click on it. So we now go down and we click save and we click apply changes. Now we go to system, advanced, and then we go to the networking tab, and where it says network interfaces, so here we will enable hardware checksum offloading, so this one here. We will save and now we click OK. Okay, now we can log in, but this time remember to insert your new password. So the username will stay admin, however the password is the one that you created. Now we go to status, we go to DHCP leases, like so, and here we should see our Kali Linux VM's IP, so here we have it. Now if you want to check if it's correct, we can go to our, let me just take this off. We can open our terminal and we can use the command ifconfig. And as you can see, it's the same, so it's correct. Now we click on this plus here and we will insert our IP address, so 10.0.0.2, this one here. Now we can save it, like so, and we can apply the changes. So let's use ifconfig to see our current IP address. So this is our current IP address, and we want to replace it with the one that we inserted, so the 10.0.0.2. So we use the command sudo ip l set eth0 down and sudo ip l set eth0 up, and we click enter. Now if we insert ifconfig like so, you will see that now our IP address it's not 10.0.0.11, it's 10.0.0.2. Okay, now let's go back to our pfSense website, and now let's configure our firewall rules. To do that, we go to Firewall, Rules. Now we click on the LAN tab, and we click on this add to add a rule on the top. Now let's make some changes, and on the action we insert block. On the address family we insert IPv4 plus IPv6. On the protocol we insert any, so this one here. On the source we insert LAN subnets. On the destination we insert one subnets. In the description we will insert. So this is the description that we want to insert here. Now we save it. We can click on apply changes, and you should have something like you see here on the screen. Now we need to create some rules to our cyber range. However, we need to create an alias. To do that, we go to Firewall, then Aliases, and then we click Add. Now the name will be, the description will be private IPv4 address space, then the type will be networks, like so. Now our first network will be 10.0.0.0/8, then our second network will be 172.16.0.0, and then we will insert here 12. Then we will add a new network, and that network will be 192.168.0.0, and we will add 16. We add a new network, 169.254.0.0, and we insert here 16 as well. Then we add a new network, and that will be 127.0.0.0, and we will insert here an 8. Now we save it, and we will apply the changes. Now we can go to Firewall, Rules, and now we can create rules on our cyber range. So we click on Cyber Range. Now we click on this one here to add a rule to the end. So in this case, the address family will be IPv4 plus IPv6. The protocol will be any. The source will be cyber range subnets. The destination will be cyber range address. So let's see this one here. Now our description will be like so. This will be our description. Now we save it. Now we will not apply just yet the changes because we will add more. Now we will add one to the end, so we click on this one here. So our protocol will be any. Our source will be, let me see, cyber range subnets. Our destination will be address or alias, and we insert here our 10.0.0.2 like so. In the description will be allow traffic to Kali Linux VM. Now we save it, but we don't apply the changes. We add another rule. The protocol will be any. The source will be cyber range subnets. The destination will be address or alias, and the destination address will be RFC 1918, as you can see here, and we will select invert match. Now the description will be allow to any non-private IPv4 address. Now we click save and we add a new rule to the end, but this time we will make an action that is block. Then our address family will be IPv4 plus IPv6, our protocol will be any, our source will be cyber range subnets. Now we will not change our destination, we will add a description, and in this case will be block access to everything. Now we save it, and now we can apply the changes, and in the end you will have something like this. Now we will do the same, but this time to the AD lab, okay? Now we click on it. Now we add a rule to the end, like so. The action will be block. The address family will be IPv4 plus IPv6. Our protocol will be any. Our source will be AD lab subnets. Our destination will be one subnets. And our description will be block access to services on one interface, like so. We save it, but we do not apply the changes because we will add a new rule to the end, like so. The action will be block once again. The address family will be IPv4 plus IPv6. Our protocol will be any. Our source will be AD lab subnets. Our destination will be cyber range subnets, this one here, and our description will be block traffic to cyber range interface, like so. And we save it once again, but we will add a new rule to the end, of course. This time we will just change the address family to IPv4 plus IPv6. The protocol will be any once again. Our source will be AD lab subnets. We will not change the destination, we will just make a description, and the description will be allow traffic to all other subnets and internet. So we click save. Now we can apply the changes like so, and in the end you will have something like this. Now let's reboot our pfSense, and to do that we go to diagnostics, we go to reboot here as you can see, and we click submit. Now after this reboot we will be redirected to our login page. And that's it guys for this video, of course. Thank you for watching, and I know that this video is a little bit long, however the great thing about videos is that you can pause, you can take a break, and you can come back whenever you want. Remember that this is part 1 of our series on how to set up an elaborated home lab. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave those in the commentary section down below. See you next time, stay curious, stay safe, and happy hacking! Bye bye!